I'm going to be analyzing gold in this video, and I'm possibly going to take in a trade tomorrow, which is Monday, right? And also, I'm going to be showing you how to identify proper place to put a stop loss and proper place to put a take profit. But before going to that, if you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Divine, and what I basically do on this channel is document how I trade, and as well show you the mindset behind my strategy. If you're not seeing content like this, I want you to smash this subscribe button. I want you to smash the subscribe button and as well like this video. I'll be right back. Now let me analyze gold for my gold diggers, right? Remember the code here. We want to first understand what price is doing on the higher time frame, then use what price is on the higher time frame to execute on the lower time frame. So I'm going to go to the day time frame and understand what price is doing on the daily time frame. Now I want to basically use my trend line to understand where the trend is going to. Is it going to the upside or is it going to the downside? Now, men looking at it here, you can see that price is going to the upside. But what is the trend saying? Our eyes can be saying this, but what is the trend actually saying? Now, if you use the trend line here, we can see that probably from this point to this point, price was basically in an uptrend. So currently, the trend is in an uptrend, right? And how is price moving? Price was acting as a support at a point acting as a resistance, and now it's acting as a support, meaning price is currently in an uptrend. So having identified the trend, we need to identify the key levels on this trend. We want to identify the key points we're going to pay attention to right about now, right? Now, if I to identify the key level, we can simply see that this point is our resistance key level, and here is also our support key level. So I'm going to remove this one here, so we'll not have a very crazy chart. So this is what I'm going to look for, or this is what I'm going to work with. The key levels I've identified right now is support key level, which is this one here, and this one here, resistance key level. What has price done from this support key level to this resistance key level? We're going to find out on the 4 hours time frame. Now, on the 4 hours time frame, we want to simply understand how price moved from this support key level up to this resistance key level. Then we can know where we're going to buy from, or buy from, because price is simply in an uptrend. I want to look for buy. Now, for us to know where we're going to buy from or sell from, we want to simply understand where there is supply zone and where there's what demand zone. Now, in this case scenario, if we have to identify the demand zone here, we can see that this point here is a demand zone, right? Here is also a demand zone. Here's a demand zone, and here is also a demand zone, right? This is where the demand zones are. Now, when price got to this resistance key level and start going to the downside, the price also create a supply zone. If yes, where is the supply zone? Clearly seen, you can see that this point is a supply zone. Yeah, here is also a supply zone, right? Now, I want to go to the 1 hour time frame and refine these zones to become a point of interest. Then we can know how we're going to challenge the market, right? Now, having to refine these zones now, we want to start by first of all refining this first one here, which is this one here. So if we want to refine this point here, it's simply going to become what? Demand zone here, right? A point of interest caused by a what? Demand zone. First demand zone has been refined. Now to refine second one, we simply say this point is the demand zone we're going to refine into. This point is our second demand zone that we saw. Now where's the third demand zone? Right about here is the second demand zone, right? Simply going to refine it to become this point here. Exactly. And if I was to define the supply zone as well, to simply say at this point here is simply the supply zone that was created when price was going to the downside to the key level. This is the supply zone. Now, having defined all these demand zone and supply zone, we want to interpret what price has been doing at every point of supply or at every point of demand to know what we're going to do next, right? Now, in this case scenario, what the price do when price go to this first demand zone? When price got to this first demand zone, it reacted and then failed, causing this point now to become a flip zone for this what supply zone. So this place is no longer valid, but instead this demand zone turned to a flip zone and became a supply zone, which is what I'm seeing right here, right? Now when price got to this other one here, what the price do? What's going on? What the price zone price got to this point here? Price triggered this demand zone. Why? Because price have used the first demand zone as a liquidity to induce second demand zone. So price is simply respecting this demand zone here, right? Now, when price got to this demand zone, what is price actually doing? Now, people who were looking at to sell was simply going to sell from this point here, right? This place was a very valid supply zone, and probably people are looking to sell from this place, but you can obviously see that it failed. So this supply zone that was a flip zone failed, right? And possibly because the reason why it failed is because price has already gotten enough liquidity to move from this point to where price wants to go to. Is that correct? Yes. So what happened next? When price got to this supply zone here, it also failed and it becomes a flip zone for a what? A demand. What is it not? Oh, sorry. For a what? For a demand zone. So this flip zone here that was acting as a supply zone at this point became a demand zone, right? So our interest now is simply on this current flip zone that turned to a demand zone. Remember, this zone here was simply acting as a supply zone but failed. Because it failed, it became a what? A flip zone for a what? A demand zone. So basically, our bone of interest now is to simply see what price is doing at this point to see what we're going to do next. And that will be happening on the 15 minutes time frame. But first, let's understand if price induced any liquidity when price got to this demand zone. No. When price got to this our flip zone, you can clearly say our price is not in flip, the price is not induce any liquidity at this point here. Meaning that this place is a strong low and price is likely not going to come back to this point here. Right? Price is likely not going to come back to this level here. But we want to understand how price is moving from this point to know if we're going to continue the buys and at what point are we going to continue the buys, because we're clearly going to be looking for a what? A buy. And that will be happening on the 15 minutes time frame. Now on the 15 minutes time frame, if I have to define this zone now, I can clearly see that this whole demand zone now refined to this point here, right? Because this is a rally, a base, a rally, a base, a rally, and price has come back to this zone, taking out all this liquidity at this point here. All these things here was acting as a liquidity for price to trigger this zone here. And I can clearly see all these points are liquidity, and price are taking out the liquidity, right? And price is simply going to start going to the upside. Now, you might be thinking this is a break of structure and all of those stuff that we all know. This is called manipulation. We're going to find out what price is going to do next. So I want you to come back after watching this video. I want you to come back and see what price did next and see if price did what I was expecting price to do. Now what I'm looking for now is applies to simply giving me opportunity to buy. And I'm going to begin out to buy from this zone here. Right? I'm going to begin to buy from this zone here and possibly this point where I'm going to look out for buy from. So basically I want to see price come back to this. I want to see price come back to this zone here. Then I'm going to look for buy to the upside here. So my entry is going to basically be from this point, a long from this point, a long from this point, and possibly targeting these highs here, right? And my stop loss right below this swing low here. So basically, I'm risking, I don't know, okay, this is less than 24 pip stop loss for a 54 pip stop loss, right? So I'm risking only $25 on this trade, and I'm going to take in this trade for a buy on gold, right? I'm going to basically targeting possibly the next swing higher, which is this key level as my TP1, and possibly see how price can also continue going to the upside because trend is bullish. So an entry on gold is to simply wait for price to come back a bit to this point here, to this level here where I've identified as a demand zone, and then we'll continue the buys. I think that will be all for this video. You'll see me on the next one. But be careful to always apply a very good risk management. Peace.